What if the biggest difference between peace and bitterness is simply the way you choose to look at the glass? Imagine a glass that's filled halfway. One person looks at it and says it's half empty. Another looks at the same glass and says it's half full. The reality never changed, only the perspective did. I think we approach God's work the same way. When life falls apart, when prayers seem unanswered, when tragedy strikes, our first instinct is to stare at what's missing. We ask, why would God allow this? Why did this have to happen? What did we do to deserve this? We become so focused on the empty half of the glass that we completely miss what God is doing in the half that's still full. Imagine a family loses their daughter. The half empty perspective says, why would this happen? Why did God allow us to lose her? The questions are real and the grief is real. But over time, that family begins praying together every night. They forgive one another. They rediscover their faith. They become closer than they ever were before. They lean on God instead of trying to carry everything themselves. Did the loss become good? No. The loss was still heartbreaking. But look at the beauty God brought out of something so painful. That's what God does. He specializes in bringing life out of death, hope out of despair, purpose out of pain. We may never understand every reason behind our suffering on this side of heaven, but we can trust that God wastes absolutely nothing. The enemy wants you to stare at the empty half. God invites you to see the ways he's still working. Faith is believing that even in the middle of pain, God is writing a story more beautiful than we can currently see. So today, ask yourself, am I looking at what's missing, or am I looking in the ways God's still moving? Sometimes the miracle isn't that glass becomes full. Sometimes the miracle is that God teaches you to see his goodness in the half that's already there.